Oh, she is on.
Yeah, she got up early.
All right. How are you?
Well, I'm trying a new breakfast.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I have a neighbor who is going through chemo, so I go get her groceries every week.
Uh-huh.
And it's called Just Scramble. You just add an egg and they have like vegetables, all Americans. I'm gonna try this morning.
That sounds good.
Well, gonna have the protein and the veggie and
Yeah. Sounds awesome. So are you gonna say something? Are you gonna say something?
Am I gonna say something?
Yeah.
Oh, you did, look. I like that better. I don't like bushy. I like that much better.
Yeah, Victoria's quite happy.
Actually, what it does, it makes you look thinner.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It's out. It's like women with big hair; they look bigger.
Yeah, it does.
Damn.
It definitely does.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let me just put this in the microwave real quick.
All right. She's coming back, Colin. She's coming back.
I'm just waiting for the microwave to ding.
She's coming back. Collins is not happy that you walked away.
Oh, hey, Collins.
She was not happy.
Hey, what you doing? You hanging out with Dad this morning?
Yeah.
You hanging out with Dad?
Yeah. Yeah.
So cute. I saw Trisha's baby earlier this week.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, she's grown so much. Because I'm not seeing her regularly. I mean, her hair's got lighter. I'm like, what happened to that dark hair she had? She said, I know.
It's amazing how much she's grown, man. It's like every day it's just like she's bigger and bigger and bigger.
So precious.
I mean, look at this.
So cute.
She's so big.
Hey.
She's so big. It's crazy.
Like what?
And all she wants to do is stand up. She wants to stand up. She loves it. I don't know if that's normal or what.
Most of them do, but then you don't want them to stand that fast.
Yeah.
Because then they'll be off and walking.
If that's what she wants to do, Mommy and Daddy are okay.
I know, but still, trust me. I remember those days. We wanted the first one to walk so bad, and he started walking. Oh, let's just say we both lost a lot of weight. And then the second one came along, and we were living in a 2-story then, so we really lost more weight then.
Oh.
Just because up and down, because their bedrooms were upstairs.
Yeah, that's funny.
So yeah, doesn't take long.
Yeah.
But I don't know if this is gonna work or not.
I was trying to get it finished before we got started. But it's funny, when I had it on this morning, I was having trouble finding it. I was on the pivot shift page, but it wasn't showing up. And then, so I just shut my phone off and I cut it back on, and there he was.
Yeah, all you have to do is just go to your email. Matt sent an email, and it has a link to the 8 a.m. call. The link to this, and that's what I go to every morning. I have it favorited, and I just click on that. And because before that, I would have a hard time finding it. Now I just go on my email, just click, come on.
Well, I mean, I have the Zoom numbers in my office, and that's usually where I am, but not this morning. But I'm so glad I went on, because when he started talking about his daughter, and when he read that passage, I was like, okay, see, Laura, everybody's got stuff going on.
Yeah, today would have been my grandmother's 82nd birthday today.
See, things like that. There's always a date that comes up. I know. And
she just passed away like 2 months ago.
No,
yeah.
Never easy.
So this is her first birthday that she's gone.
I understand.
Yeah,
I went to 2 funerals. Well, I shouldn't say funerals. Viewings this week.
Yeah.
And it's just like, gosh. What? What you gonna tell me?
She just smiling at you. She just smiling at you.
They babies know I was a teacher. What you doing? What you doing?
She's just smiling at you.
Talk to me. See, I like all that orange. That's what it is.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't.
I love that orange.
See, we might have to turn this off seeing that ugly orange. It's so gaudy, huh? It is not in my wheelhouse. It's not in my color wheel. Not in my color wheel, Ms. Laura.
I do have to tell you this. My sister called me last night. We both went to the viewing yesterday, and she called me last night, and she said, "You're not going to believe this." She's a huge Carolina fan. Huge. Our family was split down the middle. Anyway, our friend that passed day before yesterday was a huge, he went to Clemson, huge IPTAY supporter. Somehow Dabo Sweeney heard about it, and he sent the family a video.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. I cannot wait to see it. My sister's going to share it with me today.
Wow.
My sister's like, I'm not a Clemson fan, but I do have a lot of respect for that man. You're such a nut.
Did she talk like that?
Oh, my daddy was from St. Matthews, and she has that same brogue. She does. She draws everything. What? What you want to tell me? What you want to tell me?
See, I like that accent.
See, that comes from living here all my life.
When I first realized that I wanted to marry Victoria before we even started dating, like, I knew her for a few months, but like, I don't think I ever really had like a conversation with her. And we were in Sunday school class, and normally after Sunday school class, we all went and had breakfast, lunch together. I mean, there was like at least 12 to 20 of us, right? And then this morning just happened to be myself, our pastor, and his wife, another guy, and Victoria and myself. And she sat next to me, and she asked me a question about work, and I'm like, I didn't know you were from the South. Like, she busts out this like twang, and I'm like, oh, dang. Just stole my heart, like, right there. I was done. I was like, well, I know who I'm marrying. Like that breakfast, it was the craziest thing in the world. I don't know what happened, but it's just like, I knew right then and there.
My sister's first husband was from somewhere in Ohio, and when she would get to visit his great grandpa, he would tell my sister, he said, "Come here, Miss South Carolina, come sit beside me," because he just wanted to hear her talk. Crazy. Morning, Matt. Sorry.
Morning.
Good morning, Matt.
So how was James Shaw this morning?
It was
It was
really
just
good.
very good.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
gotta go back and watch it. Friday is my coaching call.
Yeah,
I thought Tuesday was your coaching call.
No,
he's got.
Friday is my coaching call.
I thought Wednesday was your coaching call.
No.
No,
Yes.
James shared that his daughter told him he did not know what she was going through with this COVID, and he said, you're exactly right. And they were getting ready for bed, and she asked him to read a book to her, and she said, but it can't be. It was a certain book he reads to her. He said, well, what do you want me to read to you? And she said, the Shift book.
8 years old.
8 years old. But he told us he read page 273, where it's talking about when you're going through rough waters, it's not always smooth sailing.
Yeah.
And he was able to connect that, because she didn't understand it, but he was able to connect it when they went on a Disney cruise and they got stuck out at sea for 3 extra days because of a hurricane. And coming back in, it was real rough, but the rest of the time it was very smooth. So it was good. And
Cool.
just saying, we all got to keep plugging away, pushing away. So
Yep. That's awesome.
look at her.
Yeah.
So
Collins
cute.
agrees.
Oh,
Collins agrees.
you too cute. What you doing, Collins? Hey.
Hey.
You guys signed up for Bold?
I am not.
I have.
I have not. I'm doing oh my gosh. Lance Loken's listing thing right now. I got a call coming in. Hello, this is Richard.
Matt, are you doing both?
Of course.
I really tried to give mine away to Liz Powers. We grew up well. She taught my daughter. We worked together. She's been with KW for not a year yet. She's done Ignite, and I said, but I don't know if she will or not.
What's your name?
Liz Powers. She's at the Columbia office. I texted her last night, and she was getting a listing, so she was going to call me today. Oh my goodness! No, no! What you doing, Collins? What you doing?
I'm choking myself with my fingers, and then I smile.
You trying to motivate us today?
Yeah.
You trying to tell us to smile and dial?
Yeah, she's trying to tell us that we need to read the Shift book to her.
You never know.
Somebody's got to illustrate it, and then it'll be perfect.
Yeah, that'll be funny. So Laura had some wins yesterday, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I'm still waiting to hear on my offer. But
Well, Laura had some personal things that she dealt with yesterday, and still got a lot of contacts in, calls in. She pushed through. She made it happen. Today she was going to take a break, and guess where she's at? She's on here.
well, I woke up earlier than I had planned on. So isn't that
Yeah.
always the case when you
I like it.
say you're going to sleep in and you can't?
No, when I say I'm going to sleep in, I sleep in.
I don't. Mine, it always happens. It's like my internal clock goes boom, which is fine. It's fine. It's Friday. Got much to do. So, and hoping by 6 p.m. I'm going to be celebrating with my buyer.
Yep.
Well, we gave them till 6 p.m.
Gotcha.
They
So,
had, like-
talking about celebration, Irmo opened up outside eating.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Might have to go to Irmo today. Don't know
My
where I would go
daughter-
to.
My daughter works for Sea Hunt Boats. They went back today.
Sea
they
hunt boats.
All right, stop it.
My daughter works for Sea Hunt Boats.
You work for Sea Hunt boats.
My daughter works for Sea Hunt Boats. Arr. Richard, you need to come hang out with my sister if you think I sound Southern. Oh, Lord.
It's just funny how you said it. My daughter worked for Sea Hunt boats.
Anyway, they went back today, but she said they had to wear a mask. They won't be able to use the break room. They're taking the microwaves out. She said, Mom, what the heck am I supposed to eat? And I said, well, I don't know. You're 24 years old. You live on your own. Figure it out. Take a sandwich.
Take a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Call it a day.
Exactly.
I went on 2 for sale by owner previews yesterday, and Victoria put in a mask in my truck just in case. And I get there, and I'm just expecting them to say, "Hey, do you have a mask or something?" And next, like the first lady just stuck her hand out. She hugged my hand, or she shook my hand. I'm like, man, people do not care about what's going on right now. Her husband gets home. He wants to shake my hand. Next house, and then my next appointment, he wants to shake my hand. He's like, well, I know we're probably not supposed to do this, but I don't really care.
Honestly, I think people just, the cabin fever's getting to them. And when they can see somebody besides their spouse or their kids, they get excited.
Hey,
Yep.
hey, don't eat my arm.
So, Richard, how'd the for sale by owner appointments go yesterday?
They went okay. I mean, I just did what I normally do. I haven't gotten down what Robbie does yet.
Well, did you convert them?
No, my for sale by owner preview is not a converting appointment.
Gotcha.
Might be why you're not converting them, huh?
Yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah, that was one of my kind of ahas from my coach. Different, different thing. But when he was talking about my recruiting appointments, he was like, "Well, did you ask him to join KW?" And I'm like, "Well, no." Like, well, then what are you doing? I'm like, well, I just was meeting them and going through everything we are. He's like, well, you have to ask them. If you don't ask them, they're not going to join. I'm like, yeah, okay, good point. So it's the same thing. If you want them to list with you, you got to ask them to list with you.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Well, it's just like that's like Roddy's system is a completely different system than I do. So I just gotta work on it and look at it and plan it out.
So when are you going to do that?
Right now, it's not on my to-do list, but it will be soon. Hey, calm down, little one.
Bless.
She is losing it. Like everything's going in her mouth right now.
Of course.
Get
She's
used
just
to it.
like, ah.
Get used to it.
Oh, me. So Matt, we can still go in the office if we need to, right?
Yep. I think we need to have a party in the office. Party! Party!
Look at, she's like, what?
Like, I don't know about a party, Dad. I just want to eat.
Oh yeah.
Put my hands in my mouth. So, Richard, I'm gonna challenge you. What would it look like? Are you still gonna go out for sale by owners?
Yeah, I'm calling for sale by owners here in 15 minutes.
So, how would it look if your next appointment you just asked for the listing?
Well, I mean, the telephone call when I call them is a preview, and my history experience, I mean, that system, I pretty much got the listing appointment like 85% of the time.
But it's not a
So-
listing appointment.
It's not here. That's not happening here, and I recognize that. So I know I need to change it. You know, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, then you're an idiot, right?
So how does it look if you ask for the listing?
That's what I got to work on. So I'm planning on going back to watching that video with Roddy, and I've been trying to call him. It just hasn't happened yet to get more insight on that. He didn't really go that in depth that I really needed. But yeah.
So
I think my scripts are gonna be changing soon.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you're still having appointments, like you're missing my thing is, like, don't worry about a script, don't worry about a system, just go ask for the listing.
Well, then I would be completely lying of how I got into the door, and I'm not gonna do that.
I mean, I'm not necessarily saying lie, but I mean, you're talking about previewing it for buyers, which you can also, when you get in there, you can say, hey, I'd love to show it to some buyers, but one of the ways that I can do that is by listing it for you.
Yeah.
You know, I can find more buyers if I can market your house. I'm not really allowed to market your house unless I'm listing it. So,
Yeah, I feel like if I did that, my integrity is like out the window. I completely lied to them.
what are you saying when you go out there? Like, what are you saying to get the appointment?
I asked them if they're willing to work with a buyer's agent, and they say, well, we're not listing with anybody. I'm like, nope, you know, I'm not talking about listing the house. You know, just want to go out to preview it. My whole thing on for sale by owners is building a rapport with them. You know, building rapport, have them trust me. You know, and then when they do go to list, that I get an interview. Well, I'm not getting any freaking interviews with people.
Right, because you're a buyer's agent.
Like, well, no. I mean, when I follow up with them, I don't follow up with them as a buyer's agent. I actually do follow up with them as helping them out. Like, I mean, my system is really good. I mean, it was really good, I should say, in Florida. I mean, it worked all the time. I mean, I listed 4 or 5 properties for sale by owners every single month. You know, and it's just like here. I mean, it just happened to me, what was last week? I called somebody. They told me that they were going to list it with a particular agent. So I didn't even go to preview it, but I just followed up with them, you know, and then I followed up with them for like 2 weeks. They didn't pick up the week before. And then I go to find out that they listed it. I figured they listed it with that agent. Well, I go on to make sure, and they listed it with some company I've never even heard of, and a listing agent I've never even heard of. So I called that agent that they said that they were going to hire, and she said, "Dude, I don't know what happened." She said, as of like 2 days ago, they were going to list it with me. You know, like I just cannot crack the nut of things that happen here. Like, things have happened here in the last 4 years that I've never have seen. Just random stupid stuff that I just feel like the clientele here just does not understand the way that real estate works. Like this,
I mean, that might be true, but it's also it isn't necessarily just here. It's the market things have changed.
No.
So I would think that Florida is probably also different, because like things in the world and things in technology and things in real estate have just changed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it's kind of like my wife and I talk a lot about how, like, we want our kids to grow up in a similar like school zone and similar stuff to like what we grew up in. We talk about it all the time, and we're like, yeah, there just really isn't that place that's here that is like where we grew up. But then we look at it and it's like, well, there isn't, like, the place we grew up isn't where we grew up anymore. Like, that place doesn't exist anymore. Like, there isn't really a place where you can let your first grader walk 2 miles to school every day and feel safe and comfortable. Like, that just doesn't exist. So it's not necessarily that I think our area is different. I think the world is just different. And how people act and how technology works, and the scripting has gotten a lot more advanced because people have focused on it and things have concentrated. So I would just tell you that, like, would you rather go on 10 for sale by owner appointments because you said, hey, I want to just come preview it and get 0 of them or 1 of them, or would you rather go on 3 and get all 3?
I would rather go on 3 and get all 3.
Right. And
But
that's
yeah,
how,
yeah.
like, it's awesome that you can have a script that'll get you in the house, but if you're not listing the houses, then why are you
It
wasting your
doesn't
time?
matter. Yeah. No, I agree. That's why I completely stopped calling for sell by owners. I just started calling for sell by owners again since the coronavirus started.
Yeah.
And I've actually been building good relationships, and but like literally every single for sale by owner that I've talked to, they're just like, oh, I have a friend that I'm going to list with if I don't sell it in 2 weeks. Or I have, like yesterday, guy said his sister is a real estate agent. He'll list it with her if he doesn't sell it. You know, it's just like, I mean, I lost one for sale by owner the first year I moved here. Lady, I mean, I followed up with her, and she hired her niece that has never sold a house before. It's almost a $300,000 house. Did not sell. I followed up with her after it expired for like a few months. She ended up hiring another agent that's never sold a house before, a different agent, because she knew her, she knew her or knew of her or something like that. And I'm like, really, lady? Look at my stats. Like, I sell houses. I have a history of selling houses. And for like, my average down market is really low, and my average list to sales price ratio is almost 100%. I'm like, what's going on? And then I had a lady over here in the Woodlands that I followed up with for 2 years that was a for sale by owner, and she hires this lady that's never sold a house before because the lady liked her garden. Did the house sell? No, the house did not sell.
Oh my gosh.
She's still freaking in the house to this day.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I think, I mean, and I'm kind of challenging you here, but I think that could have a lot to do with your scripting and what you're saying and how you're presenting it.
Oh, I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, I've been talking about that with my role play partner on what because she's in Chicago, and I'm trying to figure out, you know, we're trying to work on what is working with her and what's working with me, and vice versa, what's not working for both of us. And so, and I told her about Roddy's script that he's using. I just need to go back because I didn't have time to write it down. So I need to. I'm planning on going to write, listening to that video today or this weekend, and listening to it, and then so I can start implementing it and build a system around it. Because I've never done that before. That script, you know. So I mean, I've been doing my script since 2012.
Yeah,
you know,
I think a lot of it just has to do with, I mean, scripts are going to help for sure, but I think a lot of it just has to do with focusing your attention and focusing your conversation on going through that like sales cycle, like getting to their pain and figuring out what their reasoning is, and then going back to that and referencing back to it. I mean, it's negative present, positive future, negative future kind of a thing. You know, it's that whole cycle of what things, because I mean, somebody like that, those people who are listing with their sister or listing with their, you know, friend or lady that like their garden. I mean, I think you can still bring them back to their pain and say, so you're telling me that, you know, you are going to have your friend list it, and, you know, how is it going to look when that friend doesn't do the job that you want them to do? Is that going to damage your friendship? Or do you think it'll be fine if they, you know, can't sell your house and, you know, you get into more of a financial problem, and like, how's that conversation going to look? Are you going to be able to have the conversation with your friend that, you know, hey, why isn't my house selling? Because a lot of times when you're talking to a friend, you know, that you can't have that conversation. And unfortunately, selling your house is a business, and it's your biggest investment. So, you know, I don't have people yell at me often, but if the process isn't going how it should, and I'm not selling your house, then I would expect you to be having a pretty tough conversation with me. And it's probably a lot easier to have that with me than it is with your friend. So, you know, I think you have to think about what the future looks like. I mean, ideally, you list with your friend and it sells perfectly and you guys remain best friends. And you know, that doesn't happen every time. And it doesn't happen all that often, especially with somebody who has not sold a house before. You know, there's lots of roadblocks in that process. And are you going to get through those roadblocks together and still be friends? So I think that, you know, and same thing with your, you know, person's sister. You know, I think you get to that point where you can still, you know, fight for yourself a little bit by getting back to that pain and getting back to those, you know, what their reasoning is and why they're trying to do it, and say like, okay, so you said you wanted to do it because of this. and then you're going to make the decision to list with this person that's never sold before. So help me understand, where that fits. And so, I mean, I would address it head on, and you don't win every one of those, but at least you've had the conversation so that it's in their mind, so that when their friend does start messing up or starts, not doing what they want, they're like, that guy told me this was going to happen.
I mean, I just want an at bat. Like, I'm not even getting at bats.
But you're not asking.
I mean, like, no, I am. You don't understand, Matt. I don't think you understand my scripts. It's a system that I do every single week. I do ask for the appointment or for the listing appointment. I don't think you understand what I do.
No, I mean, I think I do. I'm just saying it's the initial focus isn't on there. So like what you were saying is that you can't really ask for it initially because that's not what you're telling them to get into the house. And I totally get it.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying is that you're painting a picture initially that you aren't trying to list their house. You're trying to show it to a buyer because you're a buyer's agent. And so I think a lot of those people in their head are like, well, this guy has buyers, but I don't want to list with somebody who has buyers. I want to list with somebody who's going to sell my house.
Gotcha.
So you're setting up their mindset and their mentality that like, I need to go find a guy that's going to sell my house. There was that one guy that came by that said he might have a buyer, but he's never brought a buyer. So what's he doing? I don't know. Like, let me call somebody else.
Well, one thing that you don't know is like what my scripts are. And like when I leave the house, I ask them, that's the last question that I ask them at their front door is so most sellers, they have a plan B when their house doesn't sell, Matt. So what is your plan B in 2 weeks if it doesn't sell? Are you planning on renting the house out? Are you just going to keep it, or are you going to hire a professional like me? So I do ask for the opportunity to get a listing appointment. Yeah. I do that every single week. So I do ask for the listing appointment. I just do it in a more of a passive way than Roddy does.
Yeah.
But whatever I'm doing is not working, and I completely get that. But I just want you to know I do ask for the appointment. You're acting like I don't ask for the appointment.
We should role play that together sometime.
Yeah, I would love to.
I would change that. Instead of saying hire a professional like me, I would just say, are you going to hire me? Because when you say hire a professional like me, they're thinking like, well, sure, maybe I'll hire a professional like you. Mm-hmm. It'll be somebody like you, not you. I don't know.
Right.
I look at the things that are said really specifically, like even in my recruiting appointments and like every word that comes out, I always look at how that's going to make somebody feel or how it makes somebody think. And that's actually what I talked with my coach about a lot this morning was like the results that are happening because I've changed the way that I'm saying things in my appointments, or because of the way I'm changing how I'm asking things. I've started to see a lot better results. So I didn't have as many appointments this month as I would normally have, but I converted at twice the level that I was converting at before. And it's a lot of it's just because I changed I'm still doing basically the same thing. I just changed a few parts of my script that I'm talking about with people. So I think that may be something is over time, as you get used to saying those scripts over and over again, and maybe that they're the exact same thing, or maybe that you've tweaked a couple of things just unknowingly, subconsciously, and they're not producing the same results as they used to for you.
Well, I have my script book right here. I read it all day long. I say the same thing all the time. I know I've been saying this for 11 years. I could say it in my sleep. It's not that I'm not saying the right thing. It's just, I think it's like you said, times have changed, and I think my system. It works building the relationship, but I'm not getting the at bats. So if I'm not getting the at bats, I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, it's building the relationships. It's just is it building the relationship you want?
Right, and that makes sense. Like, okay, so if I'm asking for, you willing to work with this buyer's agent, because in Florida, like they just, they didn't know any other agents. So, they were just older, retired people that just had stupid money, know, and so I would get 80% of the for sale by owners, I would get a listing appointment. I at least had an interview. Yep. Like here, I just don't feel like homeowners really interview that many agents. Like, this agent right here that the homeowners told me that they were going to list with some other agent. They didn't even interview her. They didn't even tell her. They just said, oh yeah, by the way, we're listing with so-and-so. And she's like, what? Yeah. Like she helped them buy the house.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
I think that people do know people who are agents, and they do list with the first person a lot. And I think that's where, like, if you are in that house and they're in front of them, rather than the script being, hey, I'll call you back in a week, I'll call you back in a week, I'll call you back in a week. Like, they're having that opportunity over all those weeks to meet other people. And so it's just, you know, the right person at the right time. And so if you are in front of them and not trying to take full advantage of being in front of them and having that be your at bat, like, I think you're getting the at bats. You're just not treating them as at bats because your you know, scripts are different. So I don't know.
Gotcha.
But that's, I didn't really intend to go there this morning. It just made me thinking about it.
Oh no, I appreciate it. I really do, because I know I need to do something different than I'm doing, because it's not working. I've converted like 1 or 2 for sale by owner since I've been here. Like, you know, that's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean that's honestly why I stopped calling for sell by owners.
Yeah.
The only reason why I started calling for sell by owners again is because I know they're home, and they pretty much have to answer the telephone call right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you change your script a little bit, you might get less appointments, but those appointments that you do get, you know, like if you're telling people like, hey, have you thought about listing? Hey, have you thought about listing? Hey, have you thought about, you know, whatever that script looks like, you're probably going to get a lot more no's on the phone. But when you get a yes, you have a lot more likelihood.
It's an actual listing appointment or a listing.
Yep, converting that thing, and you're not wasting your time going out there and pretending like you have a buyer to buy somebody's house, and then just to get in a relationship with somebody that may or may not come out for you.
Right. I mean, I would rather go 3 for 10 than 0 for 10 any day.
Yep, right.
You know, I'd be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, 3 for 6 instead of 1 for 12 or something. You know.
No, not even 1 for 12.
Or 0 for 12.
Not even.
Yeah. All right.
Like I would be in the like double. I would be in like the single A's by the time with my stats right now.
Well, and that's kind of why I'm challenging you just to say like, okay, just do it. Like, just tell them that see if they're interested in listing. Like, just start doing it and see what happens. I mean, you're not converting them right now anyway when you're getting in a relationship with them, right? So what
right. No, it's not hurting anything. I know I need to change it. And after that call with Roddy, I was like, I need to do this. I just need to see. Yeah. I'm a visual person. I just need to get it in a system and the script down. I just need to write the script down, get the system, follow up so I can implement it. And that won't take me long to do. I just haven't had the time to do it yet.
Yeah. Cool. All right, guys. I got to roll to my 9 o'clock.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Y'all have a good one.
You too. Have a great one.
Thank you.